Hey, how's it going, everyone? So we're going to continue darkening these clumps of hairs, and then from there we'll move to the top part. This right here, these hairs right here. For these ones, I'm just going to darken the ends. So hopefully everyone had a good weekend. For this one, I'm using this is a 5H pencil, so I don't need to press that hard, and it's because it's a hard pencil. It doesn't put down as much graphite, so I can slowly darken these hairs. Recently someone asked me about reference materials, like what I use for drawing these, and I told them I use multiple images, and I've been doing that for a long time. So I don't just use one reference image. For example, for a tiger, I'll use a regular house cat picture of a house cat. If I'm drawing a wolf, I'll use pictures of German shepherds, and these animals have similarities, so I use that. Because I think by using only one reference material, one reference picture, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your drawing, because you're only drawing what the reference image is showing. That's why I always tell people, study whatever you're going to be drawing. Study it before you actually put down any pencil. Like if you're going to be drawing a tiger, get some pictures of tigers and just look at them, study them, look at the detail, look at the texture, how the hair behaves, under different light conditions. The more information you know, the more detail you can add to your drawings. And the perfect example that I give people is if I were to ask you, draw me a tiger. Most likely everyone knows what a tiger looks like. A big cat, stripes, and beautiful animal, right? But those are limited. Like the tiger that you know is based on limited information. That's the image that you have in your head. It's based on just a big cat with stripes. Now if I were to give you a picture of a tiger and I asked you, okay, study this. Look at all the details, look at it up close, try to take in as much information as possible. And then after a while, if I were to ask you, okay, draw me a tiger, your tiger will look completely different than the tiger that you first drew before seeing that picture. Why? Because you now know additional information. You'll notice little things like highlights along the iris, along the eyelids, shadows, the shadows that cast over the iris, reflections from these hairs. You can add those because now you know that they're there. And in the end, you make it your own drawing. You're not basing it just on that image. You're adding additional information. What you're seeing there, the reference image, that's information that the camera has captured. If something's blurry, it's because the camera wasn't able to see it. But because you have because you're able to add more detail, you can add those hairs that you know should be there. So you make it your own. Your drawing becomes your creation. It's not just They're not just copying from a picture. And that's why I like adding these random little hairs, because they're there. If you look at a picture of any animal, you'll see these like loose, like random hairs that are like either out of place or because of whatever reason, the wind, the way it moves, or whatever it may be. Like you see these like little single loose hairs that make a huge difference. So yeah, so just don't limit yourself from just one reference image. Use multiple. And it's fun too because it becomes, like I said, it becomes your drawing, your tiger, your wolf, whatever it may be. It becomes your creation. Like you decide. Like you can make a wolf with like fine hair. You can make a wolf with thicker hair. But it'll still be a wolf because you'll still keep the main features that makes it a wolf. Like for this tiger, I said that I was gonna make it. I wanted the hair to look like rough, like messy hair, and that's what I'm going for on this one. That's why I have these like. That's why I have a lot of these like loose hairs. That's why I'm adding like these clumps. So that's really important. Just keep that in mind. The more information you know, the more information you can add to your drawings, the more detail you can add to your drawings. Like I've been drawing animals for so many years now that it becomes easy for me to just, I know like what kind of hair to add and where to add it. Like the technique is important, but like knowing what you are drawing is important too. Because hair behaves differently under different conditions. If it's like a bright condition, if it's a bright sunny day, it behaves differently than if the animal's under a lot of shade. So you can say like the secret of realism is in those small details. You know, sometimes I add details that most people will never see or won't even notice, but I don't know, I've gotten so used to adding like these things that I add them, and in the end they do make a difference. They do make a difference, and they become an important part of the whole drawing. Okay, so it's here. I'm just quickly darkening the clumps. Like I'm not pressing too hard because I don't want to make the shadows in between the hairs too dark, or else then I'm going to lose the clumps of hairs. So this one should be done in the next couple of days. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna bring out these single like white hairs are like all over, like this one right here, like this one here. So I'm just gonna go in and tap with the eraser, and that'll add like an additional, the topmost layer. See, I don't want the clumps to be too visible. Because this is not white hair, it's darker hair, so they need to be a bit darker. See, for this section right here, this is white hair. So for this I need to make sure like any indentations in between, any shadows in between the indentations are not too dark. See, for my next drawing, it's either this is the idea that I have. It's going to be a large drawing, like a 30 by 40 inch drawing, but it's either between a raccoon on a tree, but the raccoon is going to be like much bigger, or a pine cone that's like 30 by 40 inches. I've done a pine cone before and it came over. Like, that was the first time that I've drawn something besides an animal, and it became like one of my most popular drawings. And I learned a lot. It was just supposed to be like a quick study, so I had a pine cone with me, and then I used it as reference as I was drawing it. And you know, and most people just like see pine cones as something insignificant. People like kick them around, they pass by them, they don't even pay attention to them. But you know what, they're so interesting. Like, if you pick one up and if you look at them, you'll see things that you wouldn't think a pine cone had. Like, they have amazing like little things. And like I said, I learned so much, and that's why I tell you, like, the more you know about something, the more realistic your drawing is going to be. And with that drawing, I learned so much, and because of it, because I studied it, I looked at it, and it was fascinating. I don't know. So I'm thinking of doing that, but like in a larger scale. Like the one I did before, measured, let me see, I think I measured 11 by 14. Yeah, it was 11 by 14. So this one's gonna be much, if I decide to draw that. I am gonna draw both of them, but I'm deciding which one to draw first. Oops. See, sometimes I forget that I'm recording, and then I'm not focused on what I'm drawing. So just let me know what you guys think I should draw. The raccoon or the giant pine cone. See, I'm leaning more towards the pine cone because it's, like I said, it's something that's so common that people don't pay attention to it. But I feel by drawing it so large, it brings attention to it. It'll bring attention to it. Because I want people to see what I've seen, what I see. See, what I could also do is I could also like go in with a softer pencil and just make these shadows just darker around the clumps. See this right here, this would be another layer. So you have this clump right here of hair, and then you have this one under here. So then this one, the ends of this clump would be darker because the shadow has been cast by this clump of hair here. See the same here. I'm barely touching the pencil here. I'm barely touching the paper, sorry, with the pencil. See, just darkening these dark spots to see these dark shadows. It makes the clumps stand out more. See, these black hairs here are casting a shadow on the hair below, so I can come in and just darken the ends. You know what, this technique that I use, like I mentioned earlier, that this is not the only way for drawing hair. Like there's so many different ways, but this is something that's worked for me, and I don't want you guys to think that this is the only way. Like if it works for you, amazing. Like I'm happy that you find the use of. But if not, then at least you know, you learn something new, something different. See, like this hair right here. This would be one of the hairs that I'm gonna highlight in the end. That's gonna be lighter than all the other hairs. I just want them to like stand out. The same with this one here. These ones here. This one here. This one here. Here. Okay, let me continue darkening these clumps. See this, I gotta darken this layer right here, because you have this layer of hairs up here, and then I have this layer down here, so I gotta darken this section here. So by doing this, it suggests that the hair is growing from the back and it's growing out. It's growing out. So the tip is getting more light than the end here. It's the same with these. See, I said I'm going to highlight these individual hairs, but only the ends, because only the tips, sorry, because the ends, I'm going to darken them. Again, for the same reason. It just gives the illusion, it suggests that these hairs are growing from the bottom and they're coming up. where the tip is being hit by light. So then these hairs down here, I can darken them. See, as I'm doing all this, even though I'm darkening clumps, I'm seeing these individual single hairs, and I plan ahead. Okay, I pick them up. Okay, I'm gonna darken this hand, and I'm gonna highlight this, and okay, for my larger drawing, I need to figure out how I'm going to record it, because it's not going to be on a table like this, since it's going to be a large drawing. I made sorry about that. I made an easel that holds that I'm able to spin around. So I need to figure out how I'm going to record. Like, I want to do it like this, like I'm doing it now. Like, with my left hand I'm holding the camera and then I'm drawing. The reason why I don't want to put it on a tripod is because it's going to be static, and it's just going to be in one spot, and this way I can move it around, and I can zoom in, zoom out. It makes it easier for you guys to see what I'm seeing. Okay, these clumps of hair are starting to like blend in. You can still see them, but they're not as evident. See, there's a big clump right here, this one here. So I'll just darken it. And let me spin it a bit. Look, just by spinning it, you can notice like clumps. You can notice other details. Because like I said, if you just leave it in one angle, your eyes get adjusted and they get used to seeing the same thing. But if you tilt it or spin it, you start to see different things because your eyes have to readjust. So I just noticed this one here, these ones here. See, these are too bright, so I'll just darken them. Same with this one. But I'm also going to darken the ends. Same with this one here. So you can see the shadows in between these two clumps. So you have one clump over here, another one here, and then you have the shadow in between them. See this? You can still see some shadow in between the indentations, but because they're closer together, the shadows are not as dark. See this one? These two clumps here, this one and this one, there's some space between them, so not enough light is able to reach the bottom, so that's why it's darker. See, I don't know if I'm overthinking all this like hair stuff, but I don't know, that's how I think whenever I'm drawing. Like, it's helped me so far, so I guess I'll continue doing it the way I've been doing it. Okay, let's darken this. See, this side should be darker than this side, because this side's getting a bit more light than this side. You know, recently I also found these sponges, makeup sponges. These are great for like covering large areas, blending in large areas. See, it becomes so evident. Like, there's certain layers that you can see. They're so very visible. Like for this, for example, here, you can tell like where one layer starts and another one ends. Like this is one layer here. So I can darken this section right here. So this would be one end, and then you have the hair above it. You have this hair here. Darken this. See, and then I can come in at the end and highlight like individual hairs that extend over this layer. So I could highlight this hair here. See, I can here you have two layers. You have this layer and you have the hair above. But I can highlight this hair right here. So you have three layers. You have the one below, you have this one, and then you have this single hair above both of them. And you just could keep adding more and more. Like, if you want, you could add even a longer hair. Like, for some reason, this tiger has a long single hair that runs from here all the way down here. And this hair would overlap this layer, and this layer. So this hair would be the topmost layer. Again, it's your drawing. You do what you want. You don't necessarily need to follow whatever you're seeing on that reference image. Okay, you guys, so I think I'll stop on this one. I'll stop recording because I'm going to continue drawing. But in the next video, I should have all these like indentation and these clumps darkened, and I'll start adding those single hairs. And then that'll be it. Again, thanks for watching. I appreciate the comments, the likes, and please subscribe. I want you guys to help me out with that. And yeah, if you have any questions, any comments, just comment below. And you can follow me on my social media accounts in the description section. And yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.